Tell you when we are actually live. We are live. Good morning, LinkedIn community. This is Dwight Mitchell again here from Imagine Digital Design. This morning, I'm here with Marcus. He's a co-founder of Single Thread Design Agency. So, Marcus, let's get the ball rolling. Tell us about yourself. Tell us how you started, what you're doing, a little bit about your business, and what your products and services are.
How long have you got? I haven't got a very good elevator pitch, so I'll try and keep it
That's all
concise.
right. You just carry on. You just carry
Well,
on.
thank you for having us on here. So, yeah, I'm a co-founder of a design agency called Single Thread, where we are comparatively, I suppose, very new. We're just over 6 months old now. We're based in West Yorkshire, beautiful Yorkshire. I actually come from a design background, but in hospitality. So I used to design hotels and restaurants, bars and clubs for investors across the world, and I used to run and operate venues in the UK as well, but predominantly from the design side. And my partner and I had the idea of launching this design agency. It predominantly came from the cost of living crisis, to be honest with you, because we
Yeah.
felt that there were so many entrepreneurs, startups, small businesses, medium businesses who wanted access to great design, wanted to stand out,
Yes.
wanted to build a personality into what they were doing because they were in a competitive market, because they're growing fast. You could feel it. It was needed, especially I think with the cost of living, where I think people had to sort of market themselves far more aggressively than ever had to do before,
Yeah.
because business was so critical. And I've worked with really, really big agencies, some of the biggest in the world, and I've seen how they work, and the work is incredible. But we don't all have 500,000 for a website and
That's
150,000
true.
for a brand
Very true.
identity. And we felt that there was a way to give that quality of work to the best of our ability, but at a price point and um, an accessibility point that we thought that smaller businesses could afford. So basically, the idea was just to give creative, standing out branding and design work, at an affordable price. So it took a while to figure out. We had to kind of rethink how a design agency works. It took a little bit of thinking to try and streamline everything, but I think we've got the model right. We've been doing quite well so far.
Brilliant.
So yeah, I mean, really, we're just about trying to help people build personality into their brands and allowing them to stand out in a competitive market. But we
Okay.
really are sort of focusing on the small guy and giving them access to great design, what we think is a more affordable price. Affordable,
So what?
affordable is a it's a perception thing, that one. But anyway,
It depends. How long is a piece of string almost.
it's
Um,
exactly right. Yeah.
so what would you say is your unique selling point?
I think our unique selling point, our fundamental basis of what we're doing is our agility, the speed in which we work, and the way in which we work, and the adaptability of what we work is paramount to our company's success, and it seems to be even resonating with our ex-clients at the moment. So that is one point of view, and I think from a USP point of view, I think it's we don't have there's a pressure for new businesses to fit into a niche. I've
Yeah.
really felt that since we've launched. Everyone's saying, "Wait, what's your niche? What's your niche? What's your niche?"
Hmm.
I'm not a big believer in that. I don't believe in niching. I think the key thing is about finding your company's narrative and being able to connect with people with the
Yeah.
messaging and story that you're giving. I don't think it needs to be industry specific. So when people say, "What's your niche? What's your USP?" It's not really about what industry we work in. I think it's more about what it is that we offer. We're offering personality-driven design, standout design, immersive design, um, but in a quicker, more compact format that's more accessible for people.
Yeah. So I mean, and that I agree in many ways in that. Have you had any major milestones, or do you have any have did you have to cross any major milestones to launch your business?
Oh gosh, yes. The biggest one, to be honest with you, is actually me moving from B2C to B2B. That's been a minefield. I mean, I've got 25 years experience running very big companies. I think I'm a fairly proficient businessman. I know what I'm doing. I can do a business plan. I can do a finance, and I felt comfortable getting going. And I just didn't realize that it was a brand new learning curve. Stepping into B2B, I feel like a teenager just getting started in business again. So I would definitely say the biggest hurdle was that transition. I think the second hurdle is more personal to us rather than to our industry, which is that, I've been an expat for 10 years. I was in London
Mhm.
before that for 10 years before that. I got back to the UK just before COVID hit, launched a hospitality company, did really well. COVID decimated everything.
Yeah,
Did a major repivot and decided to use all those design experience that I had and put it into an agency. But what it created a huge unexpected hump for me and for my partner, which is that we don't have that network. It's not as if I've been living and working in the same place for 25 years,
mm,
or
yeah,
been in this particular industry where I've developed this net button, communicate with 500, 1,000, 10,000 people, and off
yeah,
you go,
yeah.
the ball's rolling. So I think
Mhm.
that the next big hump for us was definitely network, really. And I could
Yeah.
go on and on and on. I mean, I've got more examples, but those are the two big ones for us.
Okay. Could you so what is your with your setting up the business, what's your goal and objective with Single Thread? What are you trying to achieve?
Okay. We're slightly unconventional on this one. We don't want to be this big agency with Teslas parked outside and fancy coffee machines and huge overheads. We're very ambitious, Andy and I, but we're ambitious in a smaller way. I think it's probably because of our age, and because I've been running companies before, and I've managed 100, 150, even 200 staff before in companies that I've been running.
Yeah.
Our ambition is we just want to stay small, no more than 5 people within the agency. Everything is in house. We don't outsource. We want to control every aspect.
Yeah.
And our ambition really is we're really focused on trying to build long-term relationships, but where we become a design partner for companies and businesses. And we're looking for just a handful of the right relationships rather than working on a global platform, competing with everybody else with huge overheads that we obviously then need to pass back to the client. I mean, the good thing about keeping it small is it keeps things streamlined. So it basically means if I work for you, you're not, half the cost isn't paying for my overheads.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
feel that that works well for our business model. Um, so yeah, our focus really is it's not grand in the big scheme of things. It doesn't mean that we're not ambitious. We're just not grand in terms of we want to be a multi-million-pound company in the first
Yeah.
5 years, and we want to be turning over 10 million, and none of that's irrelevant to us. We just want really beautiful long-term relationships with the right companies and the right people that understand the value of communication and branding within their business.
Okay. What so far in your business in the path that you're going down, what marketing strategies have you found that have benefited you and are yielding results?
Right. Okay, it's a very good question because I'm right in the middle of it, and I've got meetings all day today about this actually. So, I think look, I think there's one thing about launching a company is I think we all know this for anyone who watches this who's launched a company is I think that there's a natural momentum that's built up, especially when you're in a creative industry. I think that I suppose 90% of most people work comes from referrals when you're in a
Yeah.
creative industry. So there's a natural momentum you need to build. There's a snowballing effect you've got to build where you have enough clients with enough referrals, which gives you enough exposure, which opens more doors. So you have this
Yeah.
organic exposure and networking based on great work, great relationships, and great referrals.
Yeah.
We're not
Absolutely.
quite at that stage yet. We've had a bit of a bumpy ride getting going. It slowed us down slightly, and we can feel it. It's coming. We've got clients booked up. October's looking incredible. We're working with some amazing people, but we just don't have that natural momentum. So I'm literally proactively right now developing a new marketing strategy to try and uh, cover that shortfall while we
Yeah.
build this organic momentum. And I'm finding, and I'm trying to take advice from people as well, that the social media way is great, but it's a long-term pitch. There's no quick fix. You can't buy your way into
Yeah.
social media. And I think that
Yeah.
social media, the algorithms in social media fight companies. They want individual conversations. not businesses. So it's a necessary evil as far as I'm concerned, but it's a
Yeah.
long-term game that. So that isn't a fast track for us. Networking in general, face to face, getting to meetings, doing video calling is great, but again, that takes time and it's a luck of the draw. You have to meet 100 people to find a warm lead,
Yeah.
and you need to meet 500 people to get 10 warm leads, and hopefully one of
Yeah.
them will convert. So that's a numbers game. So I think
Yeah.
that for a young company like us, where every penny counts, every day counts, we're actually looking at direct marketing now and trying to see if there's a way to directly communicate with potential customers, generate warm leads, build relationships, but in a controlled format. And I'm talking with some professionals about this soon. So I don't know if it's the right move. I'm being candid about it. We're looking at it as options.
You've got to try what you can, can't you?
I think so, but I don't want it to feel. I don't want to do anything out of desperation. I think it's more a
Yes.
case of doing things in a contrived, and I would rather invest money in a marketing plan that has an ROI, but importantly that yields data that we can use in other forms. I think the problem with social media and things like this is that you can invest into it, but there's no collateral information that you can use afterwards. It either works, it doesn't work. You connect, you don't connect. It's a numbers game. And I think, I want to focus on having tangible results, that even if the communication doesn't lead to a job, it leads to a connection and someone that I can stay in touch with that may yield
Yeah.
something in a year's time.
Yep. So I think, I mean, you're a co-founder. That obviously means you've got a bit of a small little team going there, or at least there's one or two of you there. How do you manage your day-to-day operation, and what role do you play, and your co-founder? How do you manage yourselves in your day-to-day operations?
It's a good question, because it's actually the reason why we're partners. So there's Andy and I are partners in the company. He's just a very, very talented designer. He's a graphic designer by trade, studied at
Yeah.
university, worked with massive companies like Decathlon. But he's also a web developer and a coder, and a natural geek on these things. He can sit down and write a custom website. It's just another language that I don't
Yeah.
understand. I'm not
Yeah.
that type of person. So he's the guy that creating and designing these things. I'm the sort of I'm the creative director of the business, so I'm the big thinking side of the creativity, very much the strategy end of things for the client. I project manage everything. I also run the company, run the business, manage the finance, deal with the investments. So I suppose in essence I'm more like a CEO, but we have a really, really nice balance between the two of us. And then the only two areas that we're unable to do in-house, we've got affiliated partners with very, very talented video production company and
Yeah.
designers who can support us for anything else. So I think for us, it's a really, really nice balance. And at the moment, while we're small and we're building, we have all the resources, the skills, and the experience to be able to do it all internally. I mean, luckily, I've been running companies for years, so doing numbers, finances, plans, working with an accountant isn't too stressful for me. But I'm a creative. I just want to create all the time. So yeah, it's quite simple dynamics at the moment, but it does work, and it's great for us. But there will be at a point where we'll need to kind of maybe bring in a little bit more support.
What type of with any business, there's always a variety of software that we use to streamline our business. What do
Yeah.
you rely on to streamline your business? What
Yeah,
software?
absolutely. That's been a learning curve as well. What a minefield. Getting into, CMS, and looking at things like HubSpot, and how do I manage my data, and how do I record everything that we're talking to? Oh my goodness me. Yeah. We've landed, just to cut a long story short, we've landed on Monday.com, which we love, and it works for us. So we use it as a project management tool, a customer point of contact. We use it for internal management, and we also use it as
Yeah.
a CRM as well. So for us, Monday.com does cover a lot of bases, and that's been a great tool from an internal management point of view. You always need a good accountant. So when it comes to money, get a good accountant, and that covers that side of things. But then also from our delivery point of view, web development seems to be our main core business right now. And we work specifically with Webflow and WordPress. We don't believe that there's a time and a place for fully customized sites. I think if there's
Yeah. Yeah.
we don't believe in I don't know about you because you're in the same industry, but we don't
Yeah,
believe in reinventing the wheel. You have to pay a lot of money to have something that's really original. And let's be really honest, you can't
absolutely.
be original. So I think our philosophy is if we can find shortcuts to get us the end result without compromising on the messaging and the end quality of work, if we can find a shortcut to get there that saves us time, that doesn't compromise what we're doing, and that time element can then be given back to the customer as a cost saving, we're going to grab it. So we're all about finding shortcuts, but we don't want to showcase templated generic design, but anything we can weave. So we're on so many platforms. I could list you all day long that we use to try
Yeah,
and inspire and create these shortcuts, and then we just put our creative flair on it. And then you look at what we started with, and you look at what you end with, and there's no way you can tell it's
yeah,
from the same
yeah.
platform. But
But
we've saved ourselves 3 or 4 days of time.
that's the thing is, a lot of people, time is money, and they want their websites up quickly. And like you said, coding from scratch can take 2 to 3 months if you're going to do it properly, depending on the
Yeah,
site.
it is.
Where you're doing it,
Yeah,
if you've got something really built and you can modify it, it helps speed up the process and saves the customer money.
I agree.
Um,
There's a time and a place for it. Yeah, there is for sure. It's
Absolutely.
not that it's a bad thing, but it's making sure you're using the right delivery service for what it is your needs. So most of
Absolutely.
our we've got 3 projects at the moment. Most of them are a 9-day turnaround for a full website because
Yeah.
of the way that we're doing it. Because speed is important.
Yeah.
As long as you're not compromising. Yeah.
So how do you, with the internet, trying to put yourself out there, especially being a new company, how do you maintain a good, strong online and offline presence to connect with your audience?
Again, you're asking really good questions because the questions are actually challenges that we're going through. So you're really nailing it today. You're making me
Good,
think.
good, good.
Um, look, for me, I think also, probably because of my age, I see social media as a necessary evil. I think it can eat your soul away. I think it can be very bad for your mental health. It becomes all consuming, especially when you're an entrepreneur or a small business
Mhm.
owner where you are actively managing every process of your business. I've been on and managing and using social media to build businesses since day one, since
Yeah,
2011, realistically. I feel that I know it quite well. But with the moment you go from B to C, when you're dealing with customers and you're going from B to B, the fundamentals change because I think, as I mentioned before, the algorithms that are built in, they're forcing businesses to one side because they want you to pay for it.
yeah,
So, when you're saying about keeping a presence, I mean, the good thing about LinkedIn is they want the personal element. They don't want your business sales. They
yeah,
want you to talk as a human being. And I think
yeah,
I
yeah,
celebrate that. But it's a lot of work and a lot of thought and processes. And I respect people who give so much away and talk about their processing and give some more. I have so much respect for that. But it requires a lot of time. So I would genuinely say that we do what we need to do. I don't think I'm doing it well enough. I think there is an art to doing it. And I think there's an art to staying connected and an art to building followers.
yeah.
So with all honesty, I'm just going from gut. I just do what feels right. I say what I think. I connect with who I can connect with, and I'm just honest and candid and supportive wherever I can be.
And that's exactly what people want.
But it's
That,
what people want. Does it generate business right now? Zero. I mean,
yeah,
100% of all of our jobs that we have are all through referrals and personal connections.
yeah, yeah. But okay, so now that you've been going for what's a few months now, do you have a memorable customer success story or feedback from a customer? Can you share
Yeah.
that
Oh,
with us?
yes. 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 Yeah. We finished a job over a month ago. Very sadly, we haven't been able to publish the work yet because they're so busy.
Yeah,
I actually, when I founded the company, I worked with Adventure, a startup business association support group, and I also got funding through them. It's been a brilliant, brilliant experience. And through one of their networking meetings, we met a company called Sam Teal Productions, who are a video production company. The founder is 21 years old. Everyone who works in the company is 21 years old.
Oh, wow.
And they did an incredible. There was an advert at Christmas. It was a cost of living advert, but it wasn't for anyone. It ended up going head to head with John Lewis and Sainsbury's and all these emotional adverts. And it collectively, I think it got more views than all of the other adverts put together. It became very famous. It put them on the map.
Oh, wow.
I met with them. We got on like a house on fire. And then through that relationship, they said, look, why don't you redesign our website? We want to go global. We're very young guys, but we want to have, we want to be able to compete with the big boys, but not lose our youthfulness and our emotional storytelling. And it was carte blanche. It's one of the best projects they've ever done, where a client goes, I know you, I trust you, I believe in you, you understand what we're doing, go for it, let's work together, but do what you feel is right. And it was an amazing experience. It was really rapid turnaround. I think it's less than 2 weeks that we, from first call to actually finishing the website, and their praise has been incredible. They have, I think, 500,000 followers on their social media, and I think that they've said that they're going to actually proactively promote us and what we've done, and the website. So that comes live, I think, in about a week's time. So
Awesome.
that's one of the great stories that we've got, that we're going to be able to celebrate next month, that unfortunately I haven't been able to put out there. But we're very proud of it. Amazing people, so energetic. Can't wait to get that out. Yeah.
Good. So what advice would you give a business looking to build a strong, loyal customer base?
Okay, I come from the hospitality background, and I think it's helping us. And I think the one thing that I'm learning is to build trust and build relationships with people without selling. Just try and connect with people, and try and support and help, and be generous with your thoughts, generous with your time, and show thoughtfulness for other people's challenges and problems. I think when you're in the hospitality background, obviously I was paid to be friendly and nice and courteous and caring, and to literally bend over backwards to give someone the best experience that they could have within the establishment that I was in. And I think that that's translating very, very well, because I'm finding, talking to more and
Good.
more clients and more people, that actually not many freelancers and not many agencies have that approach.
Yeah.
I'm not putting anyone down, because there's a lot of talent out there, but there seems to be a tinge of ego and arrogancy that comes across a little bit with some design agencies. And I think that what we're finding is just to be honest, open, friendly, optimistic, energetic, seems to be working so far.
Good.
But so far, so good.
No.
Yes.
No, good, and absolutely no, and keep going. I think. So you're going forward. I know you were saying in the beginning that you're not looking to build a multi-million-pound industry, but what are your future plans and your aspirations for your business?
Well, step one is to hire. I'm currently talking with universities. I'm very passionate about mentoring, training, and guiding the next generation of talent. I did that for decades in my last career. I'm a strong believer in it. So I like to go direct from source. So I'm working with some innovation hubs and universities at the moment to try and look for the next generation of graphic designers and web developers, and look at bringing them on board. So I think that the next step for us really is hiring the 1 or 2 extra people that we need to be able to extend our abilities, and that should hopefully come by the end of the year. So we're reaching towards that side of things. I think the next step is, obviously on top of that, is going back to what we started with, is to build enough forward momentum with the business where I don't have to be investing all my time into networking and social media and marketing, where the work that we're doing is having the positive effect that we need. And that's the ultimate goal for our partner and I, is to get to that stage. Because I think, as you know, as people know listening, it's very time consuming investing into building a network and building connections. So we just want to hit that critical mass as fast as we possibly can, and then start looking at training and mentoring young talent, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we both know, the digital landscape changes so dramatically, quite regularly, and it's often far too often. How would you, and what advice would you give to keep up to date with the current trends, and how would you adapt your business to benefit or to adapt to those trends?
Ooh, you are really on the point today. What a great question. I'm even writing a blog about this at the moment.
Good, good,
What a
good.
very, very good question. Right. I am going to break the mold and say, don't compete. Do not compete. I think
Yeah,
I think there's a fundamental problem at the moment, and I found this amazing strategist, Alex Smith, I think his name is, absolutely incredible guy. I'm just reading everything he's got at the moment, and he's resonating with me because he's got the same philosophies. I think there's a problem. I think that competition is so rife. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, competition is rife. I think people having to shout louder, communicate better, work faster, adapt quicker than they've ever done before, because life is tough, cost of living, and we're all in a competitive
yeah,
market, especially as the world is now fully digitalized. We are. It doesn't matter if you live in a tiny village; you're still competing with the whole country. So
yeah,
what I'm a big believer in is that not to compete, because I think what's happening is you get a clustering effect, because as more and more people compete with their peers, it more and more they're diluting their brand and their individuality, because they're doing
yeah,
what other people are doing as a different version. So you end up with this kind of homogenized mess of similarity and genericness. And I'm
yeah,
feeling it. I mean, I literally, all I do is I research all day long. And you get this sense of sameness. And I think a lot of that comes from competition. I think it comes from
yeah,
people feeling that they have to be better or similar to their peers. And I think the future, if you want to talk about the future for success, I think the future is for people to do what's right for them. Fight for the 1%, don't compete for the 99%. Go find your voice, find your messaging, and believe in yourself enough where that you can be unique and you can give a personality to what you do, and stop competing with everybody else. Find that little niche for yourself and get in there from a competitive point of view. So
mm,
it's not conventional, and I'm sure a lot of people won't agree with me, but we are, every client that we're talking to at the moment as well, it's the same thing: is don't do what you think you should do. Stop copying everyone else. Stand out and be different.
absolutely. And that's the purpose of these interviews, is to try and draw the personality out from behind the website, so we can see the individuality and the personality of the people, because we do live in a very in a world where if somebody does something that is really good, everyone tries to copy that, and you lose that individuality. And that's so
Yes.
it's brilliant, brilliant. So I mean, so what advice would you give to any business owner or somebody wanting to start a business or to scale even?
Wow, interesting. Um, get support, get a mentor, take advice, don't be stubborn, and keep your mind and your eyes open to advice. But at the end of the day, you've still got to absorb it and do what you feel is right. I think that I was very lucky with my business, that I found adventure literally in the first week that I founded the company, and they have been profoundly important to our journey. I've had a mentor called Bruce McLeod who's been fantastic. I've had support programs through these guys. I've met other people through the group that have given advice and given us feedback. And I think that what the advice that I've got to give is that I believed in myself. I knew what I was doing. I know how to run a company, but it's still new. You're still nervous. You're still faking it until you make it. And what I enjoyed the most, and what I benefited the most, is by taking support and advice from my peers in different industries, absorbing what I need, throwing away what I don't need, and using that to empower my confidence to know that I'm doing the right thing, to know that I'm not going insane when those days where the money's not coming in. What have I done? Where have I thrown? Where?
Yeah,
Why have I put all this money into this? Am I crazy? Have I made a mistake? This is
yeah,
ridiculous. Those days where you have those wobbles, it's having the support and the mentorship and the people that you can talk to help guide you and reinforce you and make you deal with those tough days. And I think that's the most important thing. Believe in yourself, but get support, because you can't do it on your own. You know, whether you're
Yeah.
a one-man band or a big company, just you need help.
Brilliant. Any final words of wisdom to anybody who's listening or hears these videos? Any final, young person, old person, doesn't matter, just words of wisdom.
Oh my goodness me. As someone that's taking wisdom from everyone else, it feels odd to spin it the other way around. If you talked about hospitality, I could give these all day long. Word of wisdom, I think, believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, and don't get sidetracked. Don't be afraid to break the mold. And I think that's my advice that I give to people. Don't be afraid to shake things up, be different, stand out, break the mold, and have an impact. And I think that's more and more that's becoming my mantra, and it's something that I'm saying more and more to clients as well. And we believe in it. Just don't follow the herd. Stand out, be
Yeah.
different, be bold, and believe in yourself.
Spot on. Thank you very much, Marcus. It's been brilliant talking to you, and I've enjoyed
You're
having
welcome.
you on.
Thanks for
If
awesome
anybody's
questions.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed them. I'm glad they challenged you. I'm glad they challenged. If
Yeah,
anyone
I need to go lay
contact
down now
Marcus,
for half an hour, but yeah. Okay.
if anyone wants to contact Marcus, at the bottom of the screen is scrolling all his contact details, his website and his email. Give Marcus a contact, have a chat with him, and see what he can do for you. But this is Dwight Mitchell from Imagine Digital Design saying thank you very much, LinkedIn, for listening. And thank you, Marcus, again for joining me.
Thank you, Dwight.
Have a
Thanks
good
to
day.
anyone who's watching. Yes, thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate it.